As a first step towards holding simultaneous elections in the country, a high-level committee led by former President Ram Nath Kovind has submitted its report to President Droupadi Murmu. Our next report talks about recommendations and also the biggest takeaways from the meeting.
Did you know India has witnessed more than 400 general and state assembly elections since independence? 400 elections in just 7 decades. That's more than 5 elections every year. And remember, this number does not include local body elections for panchayats and municipalities. So, it can be rightly said that the world's largest democracy is always in election mode. This trend might come to an end very soon. A high-level committee chaired by former President Ram Nath Kovind has submitted its report on holding simultaneous elections in the country. The committee, formed in September last year, was tasked to make recommendations into holding simultaneous polls for Lok Sabha, all state assemblies and for local bodies. In its more than 18,000 pages report, the panel has recommended implementing simultaneous polls in 2 steps across the country. The first is to synchronize Lok Sabha polls with all state assembly elections. For this, the union government has been recommended to take a one-time transitory measure. This would require it to identify an appointed date immediately after a Lok Sabha election. All state assemblies that go to polls after the said date would have their terms expire with the parliament. This would synchronize the electoral cycles of the central and state governments and bring back simultaneous elections. Then, as the second step, the panel recommends that municipality and panchayat elections should be held within 100 days of the Lok Sabha and state elections. But what will happen in the case of a hung assembly, one may ask? Well, the committee has suggested that fresh elections could be conducted if a no-confidence motion or any other event disturbs the synchronization in the future. However, the elections would be conducted only for the remainder of the term or the unexpired term. This means that a new government formed in between will remain in power only until the next cycle of simultaneous polls is due. The committee has also recommended preparing a single electoral roll for all elections in the country. Implementing the committee's proposals would require constitutional amendment with ratification in half of the states. If the new government formed after the upcoming Lok Sabha polls immediately accepts the committee's proposals, the earliest simultaneous elections could possibly be held in 2029. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
To understand this one nation, one election concept better, we spoke to Shailesh Gandhi. He is an RTI activist and former Central Information Commissioner of India.
I think the panel that has looked into this has made a very valid suggestion, saying it should be thought of for 29, not for 24. 24, it's an impossible task. We'll make a mess of it. But I think 5 years from now is a reasonable period to do this. My own submission would be for the next 1 or 2 years, the report should be widely discussed across the country. It sounds like a good idea, but how to implement and whether to implement or not itself should be something which should be a matter of discussion and debate across the country. It should not be as if a decision is given and therefore we obey it. True democracy is letting citizens discuss and debate this, dissent with it.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.